So, you just downloaded your first sample pack and you're super excited about it because you've been hearing about how these can be a jumping off point for creativity and can really help you in your writing process, get you started. You can use them in interesting ways. It's not just ripping people off by copying their loops or whatever. And then you open it up and it looks like this. Oh. Well, now what? You can drag that folder into your browser here, in this case Ableton is what I'm using. You can use any DAW that you want, and I'm going to start out by choosing some sounds from this very lovely Lyra Springs sample pack, which you can download now at store.fracturedcapstan.com. And be sure to subscribe while you're there because there's going to be lots of other goodies for you in the future. So the first thing I've done is just dragged this folder into Ableton. I'm going to grab one of these tape loops that I like, and I'm just going to drag that loop in. All right, let's drag in another one. I can't seem to find my window today. Gotta pan this one left, pan this one right. Copy. So basically what I want to have here is 2-bar loop that I can grab and repeat a few times. Take out any of the super low information, low-end stuff that we don't really need. Let me slap a compressor on there just to take out some peaks. Even things out a little bit. That's just going to be the bed of our track. Now that happens to be all pitched to C because that's what I recorded the loops to. But you can repitch them anywhere you want. For instance, if I were to go in here and change the pitch here. I actually kind of like that, so I think I'm going to do that everywhere. These are all set to time warp, so it's going to try to put the transients on the beats, but it's going to have kind of a hard time doing that with these kind of wonky tape loops that I've made because they are not to any set BPM. Now, I'm going to go back into our pack folder. Now this is all in the free pack, so if you download this pack you get all of these sounds that I'm working with for now. I'll show you some of the stuff that's in the paid pack later. I want to grab that one, and what I'm going to do here is load up an instance of Kontakt, and I'm going to go back to this and drag that right into there. Okay, if I hit the wrench, that opens up the editor and allows me to move some things around and adjust some parameters as needed. If I were to play middle C, C3 right there, you see it happening on the different velocity layers. We only have one group, one sample layer in this case, and one sample stretch all the way across the entire width of the keyboard. See, it's automatically mapped that for me just when I dropped it in. If you have multi-samples, which I'll show you later, you can drop them onto each octave and stretch them either up or down, depending on whichever way it sounds best to you. The great news with sample packs is that you have a lot of flexibility with just WAV files, so you can literally drop them into any sampler that you want and do whatever you want to with them. So I'm going to show you how I use these today, and hopefully that will help give you some ideas. So that's an octave down. And you'll notice, because of the nature of sampling, when I play the pitch lower, it's going to stretch out the sample. It's going to play at a slower rate. Similar in the way that tape works, right? When you pitch it down, it plays slower. When you pitch it up, it plays faster. So what are some things that we can do with this? One thing that I like to do with these samples Let me go to the wave editor here. These windows stay open, so you have to go back through and close them. So if you're kind of confused at what you're looking at in the back end of Kontakt, which I think I've described before as looking a bit like 2001 still for whatever reason. So yeah, we can close each of these, and then your instrument effects, your insert effects, send effects, and your main effects windows are all here, including the way that the sample playback is handled right here, and your ADSR down here at the bottom. We can go to our wave editor and we can see the wave right here. Now I could do some things like make the end of the sample happen there. You can hear the click because it's a really fast release. Let's say I wanted to start it in the middle. Each of these samples fade in, so if you wanted to do that, that snappy transient, you could move this around and then set your attack so that you could remove the click. What I was going to show you before I got distracted is we can set a loop point. Here's your loop tab. You set loop 1, and we can drag the loop area here, crossfade it, so that when it repeats, and we can see it looping there. Let me move this back. So already kind of interesting, right? We can set different behaviors for how it loops. So this will be actually bouncing back and forth off of the walls of the loop points here. It goes in reverse, bounces back. Okay, I'm going to get rid of our loop point here. And I just wanted to show you a quick tip for these. Now, these samples, most of them have pretty long reverb tails. So if you hit reverse on this sample, really interesting things happen, which I really like. It's almost like you get the shadow of the sound before the actual sound. I like that a lot, as a matter of fact. So I think I'm going to use that. And when we get over in here, I'm going to set a loop point. And that way it's going to sustain indefinitely. I'm actually kind of happy with that as kind of an atmospheric. Kind of swelling pad. Okay, so I'm going to leave that. I'm going to duplicate this and get rid of that because I want to create something else. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is go to the full pack, and you'll notice there's a folder here called multi-samples, which you don't get in the free version. And what this is really handy for, especially in Kontakt, is, let's go to new instrument and go ahead and get the mapping editor open. So we can take C1, which I can listen to. I'm not 100% sure that the preview is coming through through OBS, which is how I'm recording this, but just imagine that you're listening to these. So that's pretty beefy. I'm going to go ahead and stretch this lowest sample all the way down. lot of movement in that. Let me increase the release a little bit. Now, that also has an interesting tail on it, so I'm going to reverse that. Oh, that's nice. I like that. We could also add some filters. So I'm just going to add a 2-pole filter. You could grab any kind of filter that you want here, but this is a 12 dB 2-pole filter. You can go into the wave editor and set your loop points and everything. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm too lazy. But remember how we set that before? We can go in and set a loop point like this, drag the loop to where you want it to loop, and yeah, then it'll continue indefinitely. I think I want to increase the release on this so that it doesn't just have that kind of sucking effect. That's pretty good. All right, let's record something over the top. Okay, and what I've decided now is that I want to take all of these back to their original pitch. I also want to change this a little bit. So you kind of have to play around with this. You're literally building your own instrument out of someone else's sounds. So yeah, it takes a bit of experimentation, but I just want to show you how you can experiment within Kontakt or other samplers for that matter. Let's try that. Moving rather quickly here, so this is not a masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination. Let's drag in another sample. Let's see. I want one of these LFO. I'm just going to drag that in. And now this LFO is untimed. If you know anything about the lie rate, you know that it's kind of unpredictable and there's no clocking the LFO on the thing. So it kind of does whatever it wants to do with some guidance from your input as the user. It's kind of the wonderful thing about it, though. Now, what I have here, tell you what I'm going to do is zoom in, and I'm going to start this sample, make sure it starts right on what appears to be, yeah, the transient there, right on the, yeah, that's pretty close. And that looks like some of the tracks that I've mastered. It's giant sausages. Let us, I want to make like maybe a glitchy kind of LFO, but locked in with our host, so locked in with our DAW. Now, if you'll notice, it's not going to happen because of the way I already explained sampling works. What I can do is go to Sync Slice, and in this case, I think what I want to use is Beat Machine. Okay, we can change the resolution of the grid to different note values. So then we have this kind of always evolving, but always sliced to the grid. Kind of thing, right? So that's pretty cool. I think I want to take it back to 16th. I love the way the pitch kind of wanders around. One thing you do have to note here is it's almost like having a synth with multiple LFOs that aren't all synced to each other. So when you play this key, you have to play this key in time with it, because if you don't, see, if I'm playing at different times, it's going to get out of alignment, which can be a neat effect, but may not be what we're going for. All right, I think I've rambled on enough about this. I just want to kind of have this be okay. I'm going to go in and just quantize that. Some of my timing was a little off there. One more element here. We've got kind of our droney loops in the background. I would go back and rename all of these, but I'm just not going to take the time to do that right now. And you're going to just have to learn to live with it. What I'd like to do is find one of these harmonic. Let's grab that one. Okay. Now, my idea for this is to have like a weird, almost broken piano underwater sound. Now, how do we get there from this very glassy pad? So we've got this one just stretched all the way across, and you get this one in the free pack as well, this sample. Once again, I'm going to go to some kind of hard transient. And now, to remove some of that clicking, I'm going to set this attack. Now that's nice, but pianos don't really react that way. When we play a note, they naturally decay and they don't sustain indefinitely. So I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to play some wrong notes. while I'm at it. So rather quickly, I've gotten to kind of an interesting place. Now, what if I, just for kicks, so that's using the reverb tails. That's cooler than I thought it would be. But I digress. Let's change it back here. This is closer to the sound that I had in mind. And I'm going to, let's see, let me change the pitch so that everything is an octave lower. Almost sounds like a steel drum. I could move this around and find a different... Ooh. I like. So literally just by moving the playhead around the start position, it's like I'm finding new instruments, right? All from one long loop. So all you need is a wave file, and if the loop is interesting and the sounds are good and they're doing interesting things and have interesting movement, it's probably going to sound pretty good just by a few simple tricks that you can try. Now, if we wanted that to continue, okay, now I'm having too much fun. I think that's my favorite. Okay, so I'm going to roll with that, and then I'm going to do just a tiny little bit of adjusting here on some things. I think I want to sling that in a black hole reverb. Maybe put some space on this. And yeah, I'm just going to kind of improvise with this new instrument over the top. Okay, so this one's a bit sharp, I've discovered, so I'm just going to tune it. Because we want it to be a little crazy, but not that crazy, okay? It just occurred to me that since this one has kind of a sharp attack and a quick decay, and this one is kind of a reverse pad, they might sound good together. And I was right. It's good to be right on occasion. Okay, let's see what we come up with here. going to give this one some movement with Pancake. Where are you, Pancake? There you are. Very slow. Okay, so our super simple, only 6 tracks used here. Little track, demo track for the Lyra Springs sample pack. Okay, using only those things in many different ways, showing how you can get a large set of sounds out of a bunch of drones, essentially. So, yeah, hope you found this useful. Go ahead and smash that like button. And I just gave myself douche chills as I said that. So, have a lovely day.